Okay,
Warming up.
I can hear the washing machine.
I don't think they can hear it.
Now you can hear it.
At least we're not like glare in the eyes. No, the lights are kind of better.
3 point lighting. Although because of her glasses, then look, it's like wow, I'm an alien.
Yeah, but unlike before, no, the light was on the eye. Means
Wow, wow.
so if you're watching, this is a live stream. So if you're watching in the future, it's a pre-recorded, it's a recorded live stream. So we will start in a few minutes. We're just going to manually reshare our link. If you're new to the show, please do comment so we know you're there. And if you're not new, we'll start in a few minutes.
Yes, yes, yes. But you know how it is with live stream. We wait for people to join before we kind of start the discussion proper, and we just try to kill the time while we're working on it.
Okay, YouTube is running. Resharing it now on Twitter. Facebook. Waiting for it to appear. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, tag you.
Then resharing to our mailing list.
If you too would like to participate in our pseudo mailing list, man, even the term mailing list sounds a little archaic now, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
because
it's
people don't know what mail is.
they just do budol, no. But you can.
Because
We
even email is already archaic,
It annoys me. It annoys
right?
me that I have people who are like, "Oh, you emailed it to me. I don't check my
It's
email."
also, people still email,
Yeah, I
right?
know. It's like, how can you
And then and
not check
then
your
and
email?
then the same people will be aghast if you call them. So the world has changed.
The world has changed.
The world has changed.
Back in our day, when we had
Oh
landlines,
wow, it's like super
we had no choice but
super
to
fuzzy
answer the
feed.
calls. You
You,
had no idea who was
okay,
calling.
YouTube somewhat better.
I don't have anything else extraneous on.
I don't like it.
It's just to be fair, the internet this week has not been great.
Unless
Like
of
it's
course
been struggling.
it's comicsology. Still trying to download.
Comics onto your iPad.
I know
That's
because
possible.
it kind of picked a lot.
But did you? Oh, and you didn't uncheck HD.
Because I have. Oh, I did that.
It
But
may be trying to download them at full
that's
HD.
because I have 500 gig now. I can use it with.
You can fill it up very quickly with HD
I'm
comics. I'm
so
just warning you.
spoiled now with that iPad.
Yeah, and but you also have to fill it up with art. So be careful.
At least my hair looks more human now.
Getting there. Yeah, we're gonna start the discussion in a bit. We're just waiting for people to join. But thanks if you're already tuning in. Say hello. Thank you. Uh, Glad to have you on board. Boop, 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 boop. Otherwise, yeah. And like yeah, today's session is not going to be limited to just the show or the manga, but we'll also try to avoid spoilers because that's how we are. So how do you like I don't know. We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Let's give it 2 more minutes, then we can start.
Oh wow, I just realized like how long things go. Okay, okay. Well, we'll touch on that description, and then I gotta save stuff for the episode. There's like little things I'm like as I'm reading, I have reference material up, and like, oh, really? Oh, that's new. Huh? Kenny's here, and he doesn't remember what he ate yesterday. Stress. That's what you ate. Obviously, it's stress. If you cannot remember what you ate, you probably had stress.
I can remember who. We should start the show.
Hmm. Really lah.
You should start the ship.
Sorry, I'm still in work mode. I'm like lying every now and then. All right, I will. Oops, I'm not ready. I have to get the. Wow, there's sorry. Restream now has a video storage solution so that you can put your stuff on their cloud to make it easier to share videos. Oh, interesting. But I have to find my Baduy Pride folder, which is not the first thing that loads in my browser, of course. And then tomorrow at work, I'll be in my Baduy Pride folder when I want to load my work stuff. Okay, hide the caption, roll credits, we right back, and we'll just get things started.
Oh yeah! Fully right!
This is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, a little space on the net where we talk about anything we want.
It's completely unscripted and not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random live.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. Today, we are talking about a show that we did not realize we would fall in love with so much.
Mm-hmm. You want to say the title in Japanese?
No.
The show being "What Did You Eat
Yesterday.
Yes, and then apparently the phonetics for that, which is I don't know what Hepburn is. Hepburn reminded, but it's Kino Nani Tabeta. Okay, so
Mhm.
uh, the show is based on a manga, as is the case with many great Japanese
Yes.
fiction. Um, and the manga of the same name, and the manga was created by a manga artist named Fumi Yoshinaga. And wow,
Mhm.
that's an ominous last name. But yet, of course, yes, it's a woman
Mhm.
who's making these things. But that's fine. Play with my feelings. And coincidentally, she's 50 years old.
Mhm.
Like how some of the characters are at well in the current point of the timeline. All right. So, how would you describe the show, Toby?
So, lots of sites list it as a Japanese drama.
Mm-hmm.
It concerns Shiro, who is an attorney and works in a small law firm, and he lives with his lover Kenji, who's a hairdresser. But interestingly, their dynamic might catch people off guard because Shiro does not openly speak about his sexuality to anyone,
Yes.
while Kenji is very open, but not.
Not Western open,
Yeah,
dare I
yeah, yeah. It's
say.
still different from what's normally portrayed as openly gay.
Yeah, and to those who might say, well, obviously he's a hairdresser. If you had watched any amount of seasons of Terrace House, you will encounter
Hmm.
multiple male
Yeah.
hairstylists who are straight.
The culture is very different there, where fashion, beautification, and cosmetology, if I remember the term correctly, are not gendered jobs.
Yes.
They're open for people who have skill and who have an artistic angle to their work. And the show is fascinating because it's such a nice slice of life drama without dipping too much into drama and without boring you with slice of life.
Yeah, yeah. And the what's this? I can't even remember. Like I know when I read the description because I am the type of person who, when I look at Netflix, and then there's that whole section for like new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For coming soon now, that's the current description of it. I actually take the time and like read the coming soon descriptions. I mark the reminder bell if I want to be reminded. It
Mm-hmm.
is linked to my WhatsApp, so I get a WhatsApp reminder when the new season's in. And that's sort of how I added it at least to my list. But then I forget which of our friends started watching it before we did, and then like, oh, and now I really want to see it. And when we started watching it, it's like, oh my god, this is so good. It's delicious. It's light. It's so many things.
Now, a factor to consider about the manga and the show is that the protagonists of the show are in their middle age. It's
Yes,
not your typical um, um, gay romance drama where it's young love or it's
it's discovery. It's the
yeah.
coming out.
This is more in touch with when you're a certain age. There's certain expectations. There are certain resignments that you've embraced with life and
Mm-hmm.
how they are part of an overall story. But then there's also the food angle.
Okay, but wait. Side note. Side note. So it's interesting. And that was the tidbit I was reading at the just right before we
Mm-hmm.
started. Is that um, the events progress in real time in the sense that I guess when the manga is released, time is passing.
Mm-hmm.
So when they started, Shiro and Kenji were 43 and years old
Mm-hmm.
respectively. And like I'm in the middle of reading volume 13. Um and Shiro is 50 turning 53
Mm-hmm.
and Kenji's in denial about being over 50. But it's interesting. And the manga artist herself is 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like she's really in that age and mindset. So it's quite fascinating. But yes, we have to talk about the food. So the thing about this, I mean, from the very title itself, is that there is a food focus to it, and I'm sure more than one of you have encountered the funniness of Netflix suggesting shows to you based on I forgot what they worded it as something like food romance or food related drama
Mm-hmm.
because there are a number of shows that feature food and this is definitely one of them. And uh, it's crazy because each episode will always focus on a point where I can't even just say zero, but someone prepares a meal, and we go through this
Mm-hmm.
long description of what's going on. On the manga side, which I've been reading, oh my god, it really is the same thing. In fact, the end of
Every
every
issue.
issue will wrap up the recipe and include instructions and the end of every volume because I only read it compiled as
Mm-hmm.
volumes gives you a summary of the recipes to come. It's not even plot points like
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen next or this twist is going to happen. No, it is a list of the 5 featured dishes or 6 featured dishes
Mm-hmm.
in the next volume based on what issues are collected. So the food is really a star in this, and I kind of love it. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of do, even though I can't eat most of it.
The narrative also approaches a much more slower pacing than most might be accustomed to when it comes to dramas. It isn't the type wherein every episode has big things, big reveal, sudden twists. It's the word I'm coming up with is meandering, but that sounds wrong because meandering implies it's boring. But it has a slow, steady pace of sharing the narrative, of introducing what might be the element of the story for this issue. At one point, it's about the parents. At the other point, it's about handling their budget. In another point,
Image.
it's about wanting to buy certain fruits but not wanting to spend too much because Shiro tries to keep to a certain budget in their monthly expenses.
Okay, at the word you're just looking for is actually the genre, even on Wikipedia,
Mm-hmm.
which is slice of life,
Yes.
and it's really that. And I struggle with that to some. I struggle is a weird word, but as a person who takes the time to review every book I read on Goodreads,
Mm.
it's hard to write new things about each issue or each volume of this manga because it's all good, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of the same. And like if you love the formula, you'll love it, and if you don't love it, you won't
Hi,
like it.
RJ. But at the same time, it's not formulaic in the sense of it's not we introduce a problem this way and we'll solve it
Yeah,
in a recognized way.
it's not even problems, or it's not there. The
Yes.
show doesn't have antagonists.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this is their life, and you just kind of float through it. And I super love it. Mitch says it's a chill show, and yeah, it is, and that's why I think it's perfect that Netflix in our area has released it so that it's a lot easier to dive into, and then
Mm-mm.
it's a very short format. Gosh, what are the no, episodes are how long again? They're about 30 minutes, right? Am I misremembering? I feel it feels short, or it never feels long enough. Is that the right way to say it?
I'm trying to find here a list of the episodes. Oh, I
Yeah,
went to the movie. That's why I can't see it.
yeah. That's the poster for the either the movie or the New Year special.
Because yes, there was a movie.
Yeah, Mitch is like 30 plus minutes. Yeah. So officially there is only one season
Mm-hmm.
and a New Year's special, which is 3 episodes strung together, but it's still not even interrelated. And then there's a movie
Mm-hmm.
that has already come out at this point. We just haven't seen it. We haven't seen it. Mitch is like it's like Hometown Cha Cha Cha, which she recommended to us to watch
But at
after.
the same time, Hometown Cha Cha Cha
Still had a driving plot
still has a lot of drama,
and twists
surprise
and
moments.
whatever. This no. The biggest drama is what the peaches are on sale, or I thought they're on sale but they're not, and then I'm arguing with the cashier about it being on sale. I mean that's it. That's the extent of it.
Even the episode wherein he was supposed to introduce his partner to his parents.
Yes.
in any other country, in any other show, it would be full of high level drama, of tears, of
Crying
rejection,
of
of
yes.
frustrations. This show still gave such a different approach, but still very real. It felt very heartfelt.
And I mean we've had even cases of like, oh my god, a family member is potentially sick with
Mm,
a life-threatening disease. Next episode is already getting the surgery. Next episode is home. And like
mm,
that, we haven't seen plot resolution this quick since things like Jane the Virgin, and that was still all about the drama. So it's fascinating. It's really
mm,
really fascinating to me. And for a show about a gay couple living together, and there definitely is some degree of love and affection for one another, you never see them intimate.
yes.
We never see them intimate throughout the show,
However,
despite how often it's just the two of them in their
mhm.
unit,
and
eating.
and despite that, you never feel they're not attached. They're not close.
Yes.
You always feel there's a certain level of intimacy and chemistry that works for them.
I mean, if obviously, for example, for like they're both leads, but then like I would dare say, like for Shiro as sort of like the more featured protagonist because he
Mm-hmm.
does most of the cooking. Obviously, his love language is acts of service,
Mm-hmm.
and he puts a lot of effort into his cooking. The fact that he doesn't just cook a single dish for dinner for meals, it's
Mm-hmm.
always a meal and a side dish, and that is notoriously stressed in the manga as well, even though the side dish may be like lots of variations of a miso soup or
Mm-hmm.
different ways to pickle vegetables or things like that. It's just all quite charming, and I love
And then
that aspect.
Kenji becomes our vehicle for seeing how good the food is.
Yes.
Because we have seen so many variations of him enjoying food, and it's just so authentic.
It's
It's
like
just
when you bring Toby out to a nice
no,
restaurant.
I am not Kenji.
Hmm.
Okay, fine. Because Shira's very meticulous and thrifty.
I'm not thrifty.
Shiro tries to make sure that they never spend more than 25,000 yen a month. That's around 11,000 pesos
Yeah.
for a
Ooh.
month.
And then Tristan's here. They address each other formally. Yeah, they're very formal. But then there's also like the fact that, it's always stressed though that but they are lovers.
Mhm.
That's their relationship. That's together. And I don't want to mention the specifics, but so good.
So just real quick, yes, food is a main thing in the show. Yes, delicious food moments are always in the show. No, it's not a mukbang show. It doesn't
It's a
it doesn't
cooking
yeah, but it
show.
never focuses on that type of joy for people who are into that type of show.
11K for food only.
Yes, it's a drama. Yes, there are gay characters in it, but no, it doesn't necessarily touch on gay drama narrative tropes. Um, Even if they seem to be doing that. For example, the meeting the parents one could have gone a very different way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the one where one of the characters wanted the ring could have gone a very different way. The one where it was about holding hands could have gone a very different way. So the show very very much has that charm that approaches things very differently.
And then surrounding,
The two main
surrounding
characters.
the two. I mean, they're obviously
Yes,
they're
Kenny.
they're
11,000 for everything, including dessert.
yeah, but it's just food. It's just their food budget.
Yeah,
Okay.
but still big.
No, but okay. So, with this, two people in Japan. Let's
Kenny, it's
Kenny
not.
is like 11K seems like a lot for two people. Not not
No,
not in
it's not.
Not in Japan probably. Maybe, and then if you're doing most of your cooking at home, probably not.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, actually, the 11K is like everything. It's they're eating out and they're
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's not that big.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, in terms of like supporting characters, then in the beginning it's just a lot of Kenji and Shiro. But
And
then
then some of their coworkers who don't get that much screen time, but we know they're there.
yeah, the people at the salon and then the people at the law firm.
Yeah.
And then I think the more interesting characters that come along, one I'll highlight is
The other couple.
there is that there, but I want to. Oh man, how do I have to double check if I say her name correctly. Yeah, Kayoko Tominaga, who is the housewife
Hmm.
who they end up splitting things together. She's the watermelon
She
lady.
she lives in the same building, or at least the same
Near
area,
same area because they
and
shop at the same
and
supermarket.
it opens with him wanting to buy the fruits,
The
but it's
watermelon.
beyond their budget. And then she also wants to buy the fruits.
But it's like that one watermelon is too big for one person. Okay,
Tristan asks, "Are the characters in the show also in the manga?"
pretty much. And the depictions in the
I think
in
you
the
should show some art.
the depictions in the show are very fun.
The depictions capture really the essence of the
Not
personality.
necessarily the look, because sometimes they look different.
Yeah,
But
the essence,
but
the
that
body
essence really
language,
comes forward.
the expressions. There was a nice match from what I've seen the ones you showed me.
Yeah, yeah. I've been showing Toby midway through it.
There, we could show that.
Yeah, that works. Okay, let me share my screen. One moment. Uh, Click. Let me change our. Oh, it's good. Okay, there. Then if you look at Kohinata, who in the show is this guy. In the manga he's this, but then it generally works.
And
And the energy is like super the
yes.
same. Hence like that kind of blank face, and then yeah, which is cool. And then Wataru. This one's just funnier when it shows up. But oh nope. What did you eat? Okay, because I got a wrestler, but we get this guy instead, who in oh my gosh, he's not featured in the art.
Add
Uh,
show.
no, I need the show version.
There.
Oh
Never mind.
yeah, that's fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's Gilbert
So they,
enough.
they gave the mousy mustache beard thing.
Oh, because they stress in the manga that, oh my god, then he has the facial fuzz
Mm.
thing. It was like really something they laughed about. So
The leads don't necessarily look close to the manga portrayals,
but the energy is great.
because the leads are almost Bishonen pretty boy in the
I
way
mean,
they're
yeah,
drawn.
they're very tall. They're
Mm.
very like model esque
Yeah.
proportions. Not necessarily depicted as being super fit or buff, but then they're like very slim.
Yeah, Bishonen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pretty boys. And then what else? Subtle uses of music, nothing too harsh.
Don't you like whenever we segue to the cooking portion, dun, 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 and then it's like start preparing, and I was telling Toby recently, like whenever like sometimes when I'm cooking alone and like because Toby was out, and then I'd be like I'll set aside this portion for later eating. I kind of like narrate it in my head, like the show, and like I'll cook this much, but I'll save some later, and then like so fun, so fun.
Okay, fine. So I'm kinda Kenji-ish when I used to prepare desserts.
Oh yeah,
And then I'd be like panicking, oh, how do I open this?
like the crepe episode. Right. You're totally the crepe episode. Oh my god! If they make the pancake episode, if they make a pancake episode like in the manga, super your thing. And then I would be stressing over, similarly like the damn baking soda and like how do I do it? It's so funny that I think that's one of the most controversial plot points in the manga,
Hmm.
that they bought baking soda for a pancake day.
And they felt it was a waste because
Well,
they didn't use it.
Shira felt it was a waste because he couldn't finish the baking soda, and then like, it became a recurring theme to like what to do with the baking soda.
Although I think what we currently super um, echo from the show is when the mom gave them all of this.
The mochi,
Yeah, and they had to keep eating mochi for so many days. It's kind of like when my mom gives me.
fruit, always fruit, and I can't eat the fruit with you.
I still have some of the fruit from New Year. So, what else? What else?
We should talk about the actors though.
Mm.
Okay, so
So for the leads, oh wow, okay, I lost the page again. There. So for the leads, we have Hidetoshi Nishijima, who plays Shiro. You will probably know him as the voice of the lead character in The Wind Rises.
actually, I'll be surprised if you know him because we don't normally pay attention to
Mhm.
voice actors. But he's also the lead in Drive My Car, which is like kind of the it movie now on
Mhm.
the
For
on
those who are
the
in the Murakami.
yeah, and the no and the film festival circuit. Like it's coming like the international art film. for the year because it's 3 freaking hours long, but it's very brilliant. It's very brilliant. Um, he's not like he's not. I feel like by conventional maybe non-Japanese standards, he's not overwhelmingly good looking,
Mm-hmm.
but if you watch a lot of Japanese stuff, I get that when especially my main reference is Terrace House when they describe a certain person as being
Cool.
cool, it doesn't mean the same thing as when we say cool like in a Western context. And he totally is that.
Yeah, maybe we should show
He always looks like he has his life together, and like you want to let him plan
And
things
he
for
always
you.
looks like he's slightly sad.
Yes, yes.
And I think that's what makes him such a perfect fit for the role. Um, he he's the type who has an internal acting, and it makes every moment he smiles therefore so worth it, because most of the time you feel there's a sadness in his face or in his eyes.
And then Kenji is just so ebullient. I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay, let me. I didn't pick a good set of. I mean, Google didn't give me a good set of images, but I'll share screen anyway. So,
Mitch shares one tonkatsu meal is 7,000.
oh my gosh, wow, that's crazy. Okay, so like in the manga, like this is them eating, and then he always eats with his apron on because he did the cooking, and then you have Kenji squeeing over the food,
Mm.
and it's a little hard to read sometimes because
Try clicking the colored photo.
this
Just a
is
little
this is
closer.
from the cover.
Yeah.
This is a little
So
blurry.
that's the but that's okay. That's the portrayal in the comics.
Oh, sorry, that's later on.
And then in the actual there,
Yeah,
it's their
then
translation.
it's a lot of this, and
Also in the
this is
apron.
almost always the view that we're watching them eat
Mhm.
together, and that's his little smile at times is like, oh, it's the world, man. When you get him to
Mhm.
smile, it's everything, because it's not difficult to get Kenji to smile.
Mhm.
So
There it is.
yeah,
So you see how in this picture he's almost smiling, but you still feel there's a
it's a very restrained
yes,
thing,
restraint is the
and
word.
like ah. So yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm totally crushing on him in the context of the show, and like sure, I'd love to watch more of his movies.
Hmm.
um but for Kenji it is
Kenji is where'd it go?
there.
Seiyo Uchino.
Yeah, and he's when you see his other movie stuff, he looks very different. Oh,
You
it's in my
might know
history.
Kenji from 13 Assassins if you were into wuxia and similar sword-based movies. Um, he was
Cause see, like without a
also
beard, he's like they usually have him like intense.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
what the heck?
He has a villain stare.
Compared to like how he is here in the
Yeah,
show.
he was the villain in 13 Swords, I think.
So it's just very, very striking. And then now you have him playing this relatively more flamboyant character.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely love the aspect of the show that it is an older couple,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's because it's also a glimpse into like how Japanese society or what it's like to be LGBT in Japanese society, which
Mm-hmm.
is totally different context, and thus you see the family pressures, the work stress. I mean, because of the fact that Shiro is a lawyer,
Yeah.
and then he feels like in his profession he it's not something that will help. It may distract from um, the work he's trying to do, so he never brings it up. And then it's not played to the hilt like in a Western
Mm-hmm.
context. They tease him a lot about not being married and stuff, but then just they assume he has a girlfriend and then just kind of dismiss it like
Mm-hmm.
he just won't commit or something.
The series does intentionally ignore expectations and depictions of the sex life
Mhm.
because, to quote the author, um, ignores expectations of curiosity-ridden heteronormative public to focus on the domestic life instead of the gay man.
That's true. I mean, like a lot of times there's like an almost obscene spectacle made of
Mm-hmm.
uh, how gay men relate in that context intimately, and then instead we watch them like preparing dinner
Mm-hmm.
every day,
And then
every darn time.
it's also a nice portrayal of a different kind of masculinity.
Mm.
whereas most of us are used to more aggressive, more forceful, more angry masculinity. Shiro here embodies, as the author puts it, the herbivore man who is unambitious in his career and largely socially withdrawn. He falls out of this category, however, because of his love of cooking and his self care and expressions of selfhood.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty cool. Like, because again, as much as he clearly is staying in the closet because of his job,
Mhm.
but he's also
He's
not,
still like that even at home.
and
He's still,
he's not ambitious about his job.
yeah,
He's not trying to
he's just
become a
content.
partner. He's just doing his work. He doesn't want. He's nothing flashy about it.
Mhm.
If you get into the manga, it really comes to a point where he is challenged by the
Mhm.
boss to like, don't you want to do more? And then like, not really. And he reminds her that the other guy is more senior than he is, so he's like next in line. And it's like, all that stuff. It's a very interesting it's a very interesting portrayal. So he's content with his life. They have a nice
And
place, and then but he lights up when cooking.
so you could sort of make a comparison with Hometown Cha Cha Cha,
Mm-hmm.
wherein the lead in Hometown Cha 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 was also um, a non-aggressive masculine figure who
Ah,
was content and
that's true.
unambitious because he was happy where he was and he was with the people he loved.
Yes.
But whereas the Hometown Cha Cha Cha
Wow, we're actually comparing to Hometown
character
Cha Cha Cha.
was
What have you
heterosexual,
done to us,
right?
Mitch?
Yeah, he was heterosexual.
Yes, but very
He was a
sensitive.
very sensitive and empathetic straight man. Here, in contrast, Shiro is homosexual,
But very
but
cold.
very cold until he wants to do it for you, until he wants to cook for you, until he wants to prepare it for you. He's he's also very stubborn in the sense that these are the things that have to be done because we have to watch our money. We have to follow this. We have to do it this way. But at the same time, he's not. He wasn't even passive aggressive. He wasn't manipulative. He wasn't guilt tripping and all this and that. So it's a very interesting approach. It's a very interesting viewpoint.
Tristan says Shira's anger can get very intense though in the show, and that's true
Mm.
because again, which is like very typical of a lot of depictions of Japanese media we see. There's a lot of like restraint in
Mhm.
that society, and like how um kind of being overly expressive
Mm-mm.
is actually frowned upon at times. You don't really make a
Yes.
scene, and so
There,
that's
I
difficult.
forgot the
That's
word
difficult to
for it.
juggle. Yeah, yeah.
Wherein, even like if you're in the elevator, you don't talk aloud because you'll break it. There was a word for that
Oh, I'm
because
not
the
familiar.
equivalent of mood or atmosphere.
Mm, mm, mm. So there is that, and so thus it's the classic, like the classic saying of "silent waters run deep."
Mm.
There's a lot brewing in Shiro's head, and one thing that's slightly lost in the translation from the manga to the TV show is that there's a lot of thought bubble stuff for all characters in the
Because
show.
if they had it, it'd be doomed.
Yes, anytime we have too many people's thoughts being read as voiceover, it is the 1981, 82 Dune movie, the Lynch movie.
So it's like stare in the camera, stare at the camera. I wonder if I should say more about Toby. Thinking about Toby is always something to consider. Hmm, Toby.
That's not my thought process.
yeah, yours.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, yours is much more different.
We'll just leave it at that. Okay. Okay. But on the whole, I don't know. It's like I super love this show, even though it's kind of hard. The closest I can compare it to, in terms of like narrative structure, is like if you like Discworld books. I love Discworld books.
Mm-hmm.
Discworld books largely stand on their own. Like I mean, each novel is a self-contained story, but it benefits from reading it in sequence
Mm-hmm.
because overall the other characters, their background events, things happen in a progression. And I feel a lot about the show in this manner. While not every plot point is something that will be revisited later on, sometimes Mochi is just Mochi.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain developments that do interconnect over time. I mean, classic being when they meet the other gay couple, Mr. Koinata, and then how their continued interactions with that couple happen. Naturally, that benefits from being seen in sequence. But to some degree, whether it's the show or the manga, you could pick up any episode or any issue and just enjoy
Mm-hmm.
that one moment, and it will work. It will totally work.
The show for me has the same vibe as Midnight Time.
I know you were going to say Midnight Diner because I was thinking Midnight Diner at this precise moment in time. We love Midnight
And
Diner as
not just
well.
because of the cooking.
Yeah, yeah.
Even
Actually,
the way it paces the stories,
yes.
the way it talks about the conflict, um, even how it will segue to a twist. It doesn't like
If anything, Midnight Diner still has more drama than this
yes,
show.
yes, it does.
And that's not a complaint. It's not.
Hmm.
It's a very different
I
feeling.
dare say you could imagine they're in the same universe.
Could be. Could be. But I
If
don't.
Shiro
But Shiro would never eat there
exactly
because he'd have to
if
pay for
Shiro
it.
did not know how to cook, they'd be in the Midnight Time.
I feel like it's more likely that Kenji will wander in because he. Actually, no, it's not cute enough for Kenji. It might even be. You could have a weird throw off Gilbert goes there episode. Like,
Mm.
sorry, that's not his name, but come on, we all call him Gilbert. And then even in the comic, he's already like they already meet him, they already know him, they hang out a few times. They still call him Gilbert to his face because because backstory reminder. There's one of the manga issues they go over how they met, and
Mm-hmm.
you know how they met because Koinata was his teacher, so he
Mm.
met him literally when he was 12. So he was Gilbert. He was like Gilbert age, but naturally, he nothing happened. He waited mostly. But that it's like oh my god. Okay, so little plot points like that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, yeah. Minor spoilers, but it's just so cute. It's just
Okay,
absolutely
let's talk
cute.
about the comic. How much of the comic now exists?
The manga has at least 17 collected volumes in the English translation. At
Mm-hmm.
least I'm trying to be accurate here. At least
Yeah.
that's how many volumes are available in Comixology today. The publishing is handled by Kodansha Comics.
It
Um,
appears in the morning magazine. It's the demographic is
Seinen,
which is
which
targeting young adult men in terms of comics.
yes,
Um,
and it's interesting because seinen manga, not to say that it is just gay stories, it's the same genre that produced things like Berserk,
mhm,
Ghost in the Shell,
mhm.
Initial D, Oh My Goddess. So it's like just a wide range of
Because
things.
let's keep in mind,
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
let's keep in mind, manga is the medium and not the it's not the genre as far as Japan is concerned. For many people and for most of the Western world, when you say manga, they're already thinking, oh, it's cartoons, just Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually more. It's a form of media, but whether it's adult, childish, fantasy,
Anything under the sun. It really depends.
yes.
There are many nuances and stratifications of
Mm-mm,
layers to it, and we're never gonna fully appreciate it all outside of the culture.
mm-mm.
Tristan's like stress-inducing part of the show for him. Will Shiro lose the umbrella? Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good question. To reassure you, because it is the nature of these things, I haven't seen it in a while in the manga since it came out.
Mm.
So on that note though, in terms of like the adaptation of the manga to the show, the most if not all of the plot points of the episodes in the show are directly lifted from the manga.
Mm-hmm.
With a lot of the depictions being largely the same, with just some slight differences. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a frame by frame recreation, but in terms of like the scripting or like the just the plotting
So you
that
could say
this is the event
the love for the original material is very evident in
very
the show.
much. But they don't necessarily appear in the same order as the manga
Mm-hmm.
or even together. So like there are sometimes two stories that were in totally separate issues that kind of got blended into
Mm-hmm.
one that all happened in one episode or things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it just speaks though to the nature of the material that it super works. I think the
Or it
first
could be
season
budget, like they're trying to connect certain episodes so that you
maybe
can shoot them at the same time. Or
I think the first season and the New Year special only like lift material from maybe the first 6 volumes,
Mhm.
which mind you is a lot because that's about I don't know 30 plus 36 issues all brought together. So that's a lot of different stories, and each issue is a self-contained story. I have yet to encounter a multi-part story, um, and that it just all works. And I've been just going through them, and it's a lot. And admittedly, as a reader, the cooking portion is hard to appreciate in manga form because it is really 3 to 4 pages. of panel by panel depictions of the cooking with
Mm.
describing the recipe and describing the cooking process. It is literally a cookbook in the middle. But yet not as detailed in terms of portions.
Mhm.
Like, you know how in a recipe, in a cookbook, there'll be a recipe and it'll give you the
Mhm.
portions and then the things you'll need. So you don't quite get that. You'll just have him already like sort of similar to the show. All you need is the music playing. Tan, 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 tan. So tonight I'm going to prepare this, and then he starts laying out the ingredients, and we do the close up depictions of the chopping and the other preparation work.
But even that, I feel feels better done than the other show we were watching.
Which one? The Way of Hot and Spicy?
No,
Which
the
one?
one with the sisters.
Oh, the bar one. What was that name?
Um, um, I can't remember the word, but they felt the name of the place was a negative term connoting that you'll be cheated out um, from the food. Uh, it wasn't con. It was
Izakaya Botakuri.
yeah, that one.
Izakaya Botakuri. Yeah, yeah, that one. Which is
Because that one had weird shots which felt okay. That's a cutaway to a staged cooking moment.
yeah.
Whereas here, you really feel like all the cooking shots are them
It's like
cooking.
a camera being held over
Yeah.
the guy's shoulder and like that sort of thing. So yeah, it's in that sense, yeah, it's very like of the many Japanese food related shows we've watched, like Itakara Boyakari and then The Way of Hot and Spicy,
Mhm.
Midnight Diner, uh, it really stands out in terms of sort of lightness and
So I
depiction.
guess for reference sake, for those who haven't seen the shows, if you love JoJo or if you love One Punch Man, then go for the Way of Hot and Spicy. It has the that type of
The
energy, that type of
shrang,
funny
frang.
moments.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you liked more somber stories and the like, then go for Midnight Diner. And then once
Yes.
you've seen those extremes, you can get into this and you'll see why it's such a nice balanced area.
Yeah. It's kind of like almost the middle part of my neighbor Totoro in terms of feel.
Hmm.
Like it's just a lot of life
Yeah.
happening, but then it's not the plot point too much of the mom being sick. And
Mm.
things like that. Those are on the periphery of what's going on, and it's just a very charming, delightful show.
So if this were Studio
What
Ghibli
are these
movies,
scales we're doing?
My Neighbor Totoro is the show.
Okay,
Way of Hot and Spicy is more Spirited Away.
fair, fair.
And then Midnight Diner is Graveyard of the Fireflies.
Di
No, no, no.
naman. No, maybe more. Um, oh my god, it might be
Oh, the one where they fix the clubhouse.
what? Oh,
The guy and the girl, the students, and then they fix the clubhouse.
okay. I don't remember the title at this precise
Yeah, I
moment.
can't remember too.
But it's not naman. It's not naman.
Not only yesterday. Or is
Yeah,
that the clubhouse?
yeah.
Anyway.
But but praises to the manga though. I mean, like as much as we speaking of Studio Ghibli, you talk about Studio Ghibli. There's always a lot of love for Studio Ghibli depictions of food.
Mm.
Oh my god, the manga, very detailed drawings of food, and not just food, but food preparation and
Mm.
cooking. So it's kind of insane. It's kind of insane. The manga really does double as a recipe book, and like you could go back over it, and then the last page of every issue is like tips,
Mhm.
including a photo reference of the dish, of like when it's really done versus the show, and it just reminds you of um, like things you can try, like substitute this for this, or to really make the flavor pop, add some mirin, and there are certain things. If anything, you'll learn over time
Mhm.
that like was this there are certain like mirin is a hardening agent, so it's not good for noodles to cook with the mirin right away because
Mhm.
it can be in the sauce, but not when you prepare things like that. Like they're little tips that later on characters will echo like and then because we know blah 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 and all these things. And no, Shiro learns to cook certain dishes from other characters.
Mhm.
And like what we saw in the New Year special, other characters eventually get their cooking also gets featured in the show, which I love. Mitch, so it's manga and the show now what?
No
No
anime.
anime. Yeah, there is no anime that I know of. It went straight to live action.
Mhm.
Um and I am appreciative of this because admittedly, it's really such a nice depiction of LGBT life, and I think it's like shows like this that really go a long way towards better normalizing gay couples because no matter what you do, a lot of people will just think about the sexual aspect of things. When you see a gay couple, then that becomes a lot of inherent questions that sooner or later people wonder like, oh, what do they do in bed? And like it's a weird thing to
It's
focus
a
on.
heteronormative.
Yeah, yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. But here it just reminds you that we're all just people and
Mm.
there's so much more to our lives than that.
Now, for
And
people who
and
are
the food.
looking for that, however, there are spin-off media. There is a spin-off series that does cover the sexual encounters as well. We will allow you to look that up on your own.
Mm,
There is a cookbook featuring the recipes, the official guidebook and recipes. What did you eat yesterday?
of
Shira
course.
Simple Recipes, which was published in 2019. And there was even an exhibition featuring the sets and props from the television drama.
Okay, the one thing that blew me away recently, and I forgot what volume it was that I was reading. I
Mhm.
posted it on Twitter that they shared the layout of the apartment.
Yes.
And the layout of the apartment in the manga is almost exactly the layout in the show. Actually, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
I can't even tell the
And
difference.
it again
And it's
tells you
amazing.
how
It's
much
amazing.
love for the material.
Yes, yes. And the fact that because the manga is so detailed and the layout of the apartment exists, then yeah, then it totally worked.
Now, whether that means the manga found a very templated apartment to use as a basis,
I wouldn't be surprised.
or the show built a set to look like that room. That's a very good
Either
set
way, it's a lot of
because it's a
dedication.
very good set.
Yes, it's
It
very
really,
functional.
yeah,
I feel like it's a standard apartment that or it's a probably a classic apartment
it's
layout.
big. So I don't
It
know if
is
it's a
big
standard
though.
apartment. It's a big apartment for Japan.
That is true. That is true. It's a two-bedroom, and there's a story on how they got it. Well, sorry, how Shiro got it.
Mhm.
To be precise. So so many
So
things.
highly recommended. We do recommend you catch it as soon as you can, especially while it's still in Netflix.
Yes,
Yeah.
currently the show's in Netflix. It is Japanese language with English subtitles, which
Hmm.
is a great way to
And then
enjoy
the
it.
movie,
No, there's the New Year special, which
uh,
is presented as a season 2 on Netflix, but it's
mhm,
not really season 2. It's the 3 episode New Year special. The movie we have yet to get
we're
a
hoping to find
legal
it.
feed for it yet.
We're
We're
hoping.
hoping it comes to Netflix.
Yes, we're hoping it comes
That'll
to
be the
Netflix.
easiest thing if the movie also comes to Netflix. Because by to be fair, it only came out late last year,
Mm,
so there's still room. And then if you're interested in getting into the manga, the easiest way is probably going to be to go to Comixology.
yes.
Um, each volume typically retails for $8, but it is on sale at the moment. It is on sale at the moment, along with many other Kodansha comics, and it is only $3.99 per issue, US dollars. And that is all
All
the way
17.
to volume 17, which I just purchased this week because I was waiting for it. So they're not super short to read because of the recipe aspect, I
Mhm.
will admit. It takes me about a day to like really read the volume. Well, that's also juggling work and things like that. But it's like it's comfort reading, and even the show is just a delight. You can watch it in a weekend on Netflix. It won't even take you that long. Super super good. So yeah, definitely recommend it. There are a lot of legal ways of getting access to the material and supporting the show.
And hopefully that will
Please do
encourage
it.
them to make more, you know, shows of that quality.
Yeah, and then if you really like Shiro like I do, um, it's not easy to get a copy of Drive My Car. It's out there.
But try to find it. It's worth watching
It's
as
a
well.
very good movie. And then we're still going to be in the process of trying to dig through his. Well, I'm actually curious of both of their filmography.
Mhm.
Even Kohinata, I want to see. He's such a crazy character. He looks like he's obviously been like a thug or a villain in many things. So things to look forward to. Yeah. Anything else about the show, Toby? Is there a dish you want to eat that's been on the show other than the crepes?
Well, they have a lot of dishes that look yummy. But if I were to choose from the show, I want to experience the mochi challenge.
The mochi
Because
challenge.
that word,
Everyday
mochi!
mochi.
Later, mochi!
Bread.
Mochi
Give me
again!
bread. That was delightful. And and there's that. And then this is, pardon us, we've never been to Japan, but then there's really now that question of why is bread so thick? And we bought
Yes.
some. You
Those
Tobias bought some loaves
those
from Family
so it's
Mart.
like a large loaf, but then each slice is like that thick.
It's like 6 slices. And then when you see it in the show again, like, oh,
It
bread's
really
really
is like
that
that.
thick. Okay.
So yeah, it's amazing.
Um.
But isn't it amazing that we now live in a time where you can buy Japanese bread in convenience stores?
Yes.
Before you'd be like, oh, we have to go to a Japanese 5-star restaurant.
Yeah. Or you have to go to a Japanese PX goods
Yeah.
type location.
So what a world we live in. If Rocky will be in a cheat day, pwede mag-mochi day, I don't think so. Because even if we have a
I
cheat
don't know if I
day,
eat that much
you'll only
mochi.
have one.
Yeah.
Because one will already feel too much.
Um.
Mochi
There,
for me.
there are some great hot pots in the show.
Mhm.
I think the one with the chicken wings,
Mhm.
like, impressed me. That and maybe Kenji's New Year omurice.
Mm.
Well, not New Year, but yeah, during the New Year special, he had his own omurice,
Mhm.
which that looked really
And
good.
then the guilt of
That looked
using
really
the
good.
entire thigh.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. Recently, I cooked something with chicken thighs, with chicken thigh fillets, and then there's that guilt of, oh, I'm using the whole bag of chicken thighs, and like Shiro-san would not approve of me. So luxurious, so indulgent, so it makes you think about
But
so
yeah,
many
again,
things.
25,000 yen is around 11,250. So it's going to be a stretch if we're going to try to target that.
Nope. 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 Especially on keto. Hell no. Keto eating is expensive only because we
Greens,
don't. It's a
greens,
lot of
nothing but
greens and we
greens.
can't stretch things. I don't have extenders. No
Yeah.
rice. No potatoes. No. Yeah. Yeah. So
Unless we like go Korean style keto, which is a lot of kimchi. Then the kimchi itself is an extender.
yeah. But oh my god, in the bathroom for days.
And in a good way. Because kimchi is yummy.
Healthy, and
All
it
right.
probably has probiotics. I don't
So
know.
that is our episode of What Did You Eat Yesterday? We highly recommend you try to catch the first episode after this show if you can, because trust me, it's worth it.
I am looking forward to rewatching the whole thing. I think it's gonna
Mhm.
definitely gonna be like on a really bad day, super watch it. And then like in this pandemic when we're mostly staying home, what did you eat yesterday also kind of helps you celebrate just being at home
Yes.
and just cooking.
It's so non-stressful to
Yes.
watch.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's not boring. So highly recommended. Check it out. Enjoy the narrative as it comes. You'll be surprised at how they'll take certain twists to the story, but at the same time, you'll be amazed how they don't glamorize it.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah, Mitch convinced me to go to episode 2. Yes, Mitch. It's not like your K dramas where there's like a roller coaster and that beat of they're not together, they get together, they fight, and then they get together. We don't have that
Yeah,
arc.
that formula doesn't exist here.
Yeah, yeah, it's just what are we going to eat today and what did you eat
Mhm.
yesterday and all that.
And
That's
then you'll
just food.
see how sometimes it's really all about the little things.
Yeah.
And
Again, like I said, like I love that Shiro's love language is acts of service
Mhm.
in terms of the cooking. Well, to be fair, Kenji also believes his love language is acts of service, but he turns that up to 11 when he gets the opportunity to
and
do
he
it.
ano eh, he needs feedback to appreciate
Ah,
his act of
because he needs
service.
words,
Yeah,
words of
in the end it's
reassurance.
still
Yeah,
words
yeah.
of reassurance. Eh. He'll do the act of service and then, oh, don't like it, and then it doesn't work anymore.
And then I'm sorry, and then I'm trying not to spoil, but then like the New Year special, ah, heartbreaking. It's so good. It's not like, and it's not no, it's not full on Western. Oh my god, drama, but there's just a moment like, oh,
Okay, to close
ah,
the episode,
ah.
other than the fact that Shiro's thrifty and meticulous, what did you relate within the show?
Again, I said I am not thrifty. We just have a budget. Well, we don't even have a budget. We have budget tracking. We have spending tracking. Okay, we have YNAB. So we're not on a budget. I don't think Toby only have this much to spend.
Oh, that's true. Because I'd be like, anyway. Uh,
I relate to watching my partner go, the food is so good, and you can really taste the creaminess. We've had many a conversation with Toby where we're talking about the texture of what he's eating.
or we're watching the episode and be like, yeah, you do that face.
Toby makes faces when he makes faces of delight when he's eating good food. So I relate to watching that.
Okay. Just wanted to ask.
Why? Do you have contributions? Do you think that there are other ways that I could relate to the show?
Hmm?
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 Yeah. They're always cute. What?
At least I'm not like as controlling as like that everything in the kitchen that the cooking process must be in a certain way. Like
That's hometown cha cha cha.
okay, but that was like that's an extreme case because that woman is a menace in the kitchen. I'm sorry.
You are forbidden to work in the kitchen.
Yes, I would forbid her to. Totally dangerous person. All right.
Ah,
So I guess that's our
such a good show.
discussion.
Such a good show. So thank you so much for watching. This is our episode for this week. So we're sticking to a 2 episode per week thing until we see if things will move upwards to a 3 or 4. But we kind of like this. It's not as stressful worrying about what to talk about.
Yeah. We're
It's
keeping it balanced. and
even
chill.
when work piles up, we kind of still have breathing room.
Oh,
But
oh, oh.
hmm,
And then because of the combined momentum of both Terrace House, maybe the way in Hot and Spicy, uh and what did you eat yesterday? Toby now keeps saying itadakimasu before he eats. Yes. Thank you for the food. And then he'll eat.
with a spoon and fork, as if they were chopsticks.
So funny. Okay, yeah. All right.
So
So
that's our show.
for questions or suggestions for future episodes, you can fill up the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. You can follow us on Twitter, Altobi No Shade and RG Suniko, where you'll see where I reposted the layout of the apartment. Oh my god, it's so insane.
You can also check out our blog, baduypre.com, for all the previous episodes and stuff about it.
Feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below. Let us know what do you love about the show. What's your favorite dish? Or did we convince you to watch the show? Come back to this video after and let us know what you think.
Mm.
And be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And this is Baduy Pride. Did you want to say itadakimasu? You want to say itadakimasu, no? Thanks for watching. I'm right. Toby's hiding a frame. Go on, say it. Go on, say it. Go say it.
No.
Say it.
No.
Say it.
Bye.